Well, first up, we'll start in Greece, where at least 3 people have died inside a burning bank in Athens. That fire was set by Greek protesters during a march against government austerity measures. Close to 20,000 angry workers have walked off the job this Wednesday in Athens. Flights, trains and ferries have ground to a halt, and public services across the country are paralyzed. Natalie Savarikis is covering this story for us in Athens now. Natalie, what more can you tell us about this latest violence today?
Unfortunately, as you mentioned, the clashes have turned deadly. I'm outside the building now, the bank, which was burnt down a few hours ago. Apparently, people were trapped, engulfed by the flames in the bank and desperately trying to get out. Some were coming out through the windows. And the rumors, the word that I've been hearing is that apparently one of the people who have died was a pregnant woman. The clashes are still ongoing outside Athens University, where protesters are still battling riot police. And the protesters here, it's a very different image. They're baffled, a very somber mood. So that's the latest from Athens at the moment.
And Natalie, police have also been reportedly firing tear gas into the crowds. Tell us about that.
Yes, very heavy chemicals have been sprayed into the gas. Many of my colleagues here have been saying that it's unprecedented, the amount of chemicals that they've been spraying. You see the elderly people who have been participating in the marches, but even the young ones, they're all covered with scarves, trying to breathe. But the police have also been resorting to the stones and rocks that they've been finding on the street to fight the protesters and who have been using sticks and who've been smashing and rampaging through Athens, smashing windows, the pavement, and using them as projectiles against the police, which obviously has resulted in other injuries as well, because it's very difficult to protect yourself from flying rocks.
Natalie, are the protests still as strong as they were in these images that we're seeing here now on France 24, or have they calmed down?
No, Jeannie, they've definitely calmed down. As I mentioned earlier, there is some fighting still happening at Athens University. Of course, it's very difficult to know what exactly is happening because journalists are also participating in today's strike. So it's basically word of mouth and what you hear from fellow colleagues. For the moment, it appears that obviously this deadly incident has calmed protesters. It has definitely changed the mood all of a sudden. And now it seems that the crowds are slowly being dispersed, either by this unfortunate incident or by the police that's been scattering them, and obviously the fire brigade and the ambulance that can be seen just outside this building. But obviously we can see in the background people still holding the banners and chanting as well.
All right, thank you very much. Natalie Savarikis reporting there live from Athens. Well, for more on this story, I'll turn now to our international affairs editor, Armin Georgian, who's here with us on the set. Armin, give us some more background on why exactly the Greek people are so up in arms. What exactly are they protesting?
Well, they're protesting this austerity package, which was a condition for them getting a loan from the European Union and the International Monetary Fund. They're getting a lot of money on paper, but in return they have to slash all kinds of benefits that civil servants have enjoyed for decades, including holiday bonuses, freeze in salaries now will happen, and VAT has gone up. Basically, the cost of living is going to be a lot higher, and of course the economy probably won't expand now, so it won't be easy to, I imagine, to hire new people for jobs. There's already a big problem with, young people who've left university who already don't see much of a future. Now presumably it's going to look even more hopeless, and ultimately a sense in Greece, from the reports I've seen, of a growing sort of social fracture, if you like, between the people who are, as it were, not seen as having to dig into their own pockets for that, and that's what some of the protesters today have been saying in Athens, that why should we suffer when the rich are not going to have to pay anything for this? This is going to be the middle class Greeks that are essentially going to have to foot the bill for this. So that sort of sense of unfairness, I suppose, within society, and really a sense that there's no obvious end in sight. I mean, there could be the need for more money, in which case what would the conditions be attached to that if the Eurozone and the IMF, had to disperse further loans? So it all looks pretty bleak without an obvious end game, Jeannie. I mean, this was announced a few days ago, I believe, this strike, but of course there are going to be more, and that's going to put a big question mark on whether the Greek government can actually implement these measures, because what if the country shuts down? I mean, what if the unions manage to shut down completely airports, train stations and public services and so forth? If Greece basically is on a lockdown, what happens then? How can it implement these austerity measures?
I mean, how risky is all of this for the rest of the Eurozone? How might there be repercussions across the continent due to this? I
think the repercussion to watch for today, as these events unfold in Athens, is in Germany, because today the German parliament has been looking at legislation, emergency legislation, that would see Germany approve part of a loan, actually the lion's share of the loan to Greece, because it's the biggest economy in the Eurozone. And there have been, of course, grumblings from some of the opposition parties, especially the Social Democrats, and Angela Merkel's popularity has taken a slight hit over her handling of this Greek crisis. So one wonders what will happen in Parliament later this week. At the moment they're just reading the bill, but it has to enter the statute books in theory on Friday. So still 2 or 3 days between these events in Greece today and when that actually has to happen. And even after it's gone through Parliament, it's expected that MPs will vote for it with clenched teeth, that even the Social Democrats will come around to say yes in the end. They're probably just trying to score a few points at the moment, but ultimately it still has to be approved by the country's constitutional court. So there are different stages in Germany, Jeannie, and one wonders how the effects on Greece are going to affect the political process in Germany, because Germany, as I said, is the key player in dispersing this loan to Greece.
All right, thanks so much, Armin Georgian, International Affairs Editor at France 24.